Steve. Can you hear me now? I think I just forgot to turn my microphone on, so many apologies. Let's welcome everybody to this evening's live stream. I was just talking about Osgiliath and just thanking everybody who viewed that video last week. It's probably my best video in terms of views for probably at least a month or two. So it's really nice to get a really positive video or a response to a video. So thank you for that. Tonight we are staying away from 2 mil today. You might be pleased to hear, and I have in aid of a couple of videos I'm doing probably predominantly this Sunday's video. I'm going to be showcasing this kit, which is the new Gallows set from Great Escape Games, and they very kindly sent it over to me for review. So I'm going to be reviewing this, or sorry, showcasing this with a bit of a review on Sunday, and then the following week, next week, I'll be doing a tutorial on how to build a Great Escape Games kit. So yeah, that's pretty exciting, but I thought I'd best get this painted for Sunday's showcase video. So that's what we're going to aim to do today. I've got the gallows themselves, which I've just started getting some basic color down on, and then I've also got 4 figures to paint. The set comes with 4 figures. I'm not expecting necessarily to get them painted all today, but if I can make a start, maybe get the flesh done, and start blocking in some of the colors, that would be really useful. You're absolutely right, Steve. It is a stunning kit. I don't know if you've seen it online. Just to give you a little bit of a glimpse here, I've added a few bits. So the crows on top I have added, but very much a lovely kit. Goes together so easily, and there's so much customization that you can do to this to really make it a really cool looking kit. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it. Obviously when the video comes out on Sunday and the following Sunday, I'll go into it in a bit more detail, but certainly I'm over the moon to have once again been sent something by Great Escape Games for review. They're really, I have to say, really quite generous. You know, I'm not necessarily sure I get the most views on YouTube, but they obviously acknowledge that I do get views, and they're kind of supporting me, and I'm kind of supporting them in that regard. So you know, it's all worth it, and they are a really great company. I like a lot of their products. They're really cleverly thought through, in my opinion, and the quality is really good as well. So yeah, so that's pretty much what's been going on. I think that piece might not be wooden, so I might actually go back and paint that over that, but we'll get to a bit. And apologies, the view is sort of, it's probably not a bad view, but it's also a little bit, you won't get a really good sight of the detail, so I do apologize that. But you know, obviously if you want to see the detail, do check out my video on Sunday where I'll be showcasing this kit. Yeah, so on to the big question: what has everybody been working on this week? Anybody got anything they've managed to get finished? Because that's always a challenge in this hobby, is getting things finished. I find something that sometimes happens. I mean, Osgiliath, for example, managed to get that done actually in really good time. So yeah, really pleased with how that came out. And once again, like the comments, the views, all of it, just really almost overwhelming in the sense that my videos recently haven't got a lot of views. Some of them have really struggled to get 100 views, and Osgiliath has nearly 250 in the first two 2 days, 3 days. So, you know, really, really, really positive. So Steve's on more ACW. I take it's still the epic stuff, and hopefully still enjoying it, Steve. But yeah, it'd be really good to see some pictures when that all gets finished up. Really excited to see what you have managed to achieve, because it sounds like the numbers that you're doing are going to be quite spectacular. So yeah, it's exciting. It is, in fact, on Saturday my birthday, and I am hoping, big fingers crossed, that my order from Bacchus arrives for it, so that I can actually start to do some videos on my 6mm Napoleonics project, which I have to say I'm a little bit nervous about, but I am also really excited about it as well. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've done a lot of chatting with James Wright, who is the guy who has inspired me to do 6mm Napoleonics. So I am quite excited to get that started, but we'll wait and see. We'll see if Bacchus managed to get my order out to me for Saturday. It's not really a big drama if it doesn't, but I have ordered them for myself as a present from my wife. Oh, no worries, Johan. Glad you could make it. Always good to be playing games with the kids. Always a fun time. Steve, a lot of blue makes a lot of sense. I take it you've been doing a lot of the Union troops. So that's really exciting. So I was and ahhing about what to paint, what shade of brown. I nearly gave it a spray can prime with the colour that I have done for my a lot of the buildings that I've done from Great Escape Games, and then I decided against it. I wanted to vary it up a little bit, and then I was thinking, do I just hit it with contrast paints? And in the end, I've decided on this pretty sort of standard. Wouldn't call it a light brown, but it's certainly lighter than other browns that I've used for other wood effects. And once this is done, I'll probably put a wash over it and then do some dry brushing to try to capture the grain that is beautifully molded into the plastic. Really beautifully done, to be honest. So I think just with the fact that, you know, it is so well sculpted, I want to try to capture that. So hopefully the dry brush will do that. That is the plan anyway. And then once I've got sort of a base coat on this, I'll let... Oh, I've literally gone through the noose there. That was a bit silly. Yeah, so after I've done that, I will start doing some base colouring for the... Maybe I'll just get the light. Yeah, do some base colours, blocking some colours for the figures. Starting with the flesh and working on some of the clothing. To be honest, I do like painting Wild West figures because the clothes are fairly earthy stock, earthy colours, which makes that quite nice and easy. And then on top of that, it's if you can put some good base colours down and then hit it with a wash, that's usually pretty much enough to paint Wild West clothing. So we'll look to do some of that as well. and I'm going to be probably using the Sharpie for some of the metallics, and I'll also use some of the other maybe contrast colors for various other bits and pieces. Lovely. Right. Let's just get this edge of it done. Hopefully this is going to be a fairly quick piece to paint, because ultimately blocking in all the wood one color oh, excellent, Johan. Sorry, I just seen that. Now time to sort out my 3mm Soviets. Fantastic. That sounds good. Again, hopefully not too hopefully fairly quick to paint, being that it's 3mm. So, you know, if it is quite quick to paint, that's definitely a bonus, I think. Let's paint this side, and then we'll start doing all the other bits, railings, and finally move on to the legs and the supports after that. Lovely. Very nice, very nice. Right, so let's move on. So some other news around my 2mm Lord of the Rings project. I've had some kind of test art, concept art, I guess is another way of putting it, for the movement cards for the Witch King today. They came through from Australia, so really nice to see them. Craig down under is doing a fantastic job. Quite liked the initial design. I've asked him to see if he can do something a little bit different, just to make the, I guess, the squares a little bit more subtle. And the reason why it's got squares on it is because movement in Strength and Honor is kind of on a grid basis on squares. So basically, the movement cards for the Witch King allow the Witch King to, in fact, they don't allow, they have to, while he's in the air, has to move every turn. So the idea behind it is that you will pick what the Witch King is going to do movement wise in your turn, but for the next turn. So essentially, you choose to move before you know what the opponent, or where the opponent's going to move to. So it's a little bit of, it's taking a mechanic from Wings of War, where again it's the same thing. It's a bit of a blind choice. You don't know where the opponent's going to be. You're just guessing, and then you sort of both reveal your cards and move your aircraft at the same time, and see where your opponent ends up. It's quite a clever mechanic, and I think for the Witch King it's going to be particularly good. It's going to stop him being too powerful. I think that's the aim. But if he is over or on a unit, it will affect that unit to a point where it might not fight. Haven't quite worked out how we're going to do that, whether it's going to be a sort of a can't think what they call it in Strength and Honor, but like a nerve test sort of thing, to see if they do stand and fight, or whether maybe they move back a square. So that could be quite fun. Hopefully it's going to add a nice dimension and dynamic to the game that gives it a bit more of a Lord of the Rings feel. But I need to do some play testing and see if that is going to work as an idea, as a mechanic. Yeah, it's coming along quite nicely, and I'm really looking forward to getting it down to the club, doing some play testing, and then getting it ready for January, when I'll be taking the game and doing a lardy day. So yeah, pretty excited about that. So I don't think I've actually run a game at a lardy day event before. Played plenty of games, but not run it. So it'd be quite nice to do that, and be nice to support my friend Mark as well, because he always puts a lot of effort in, and puts on a great day for everybody involved. So yeah, lovely. Right, let's. Was quite funny at work this week, or yesterday, in fact. I had one individual come up to me and talk to me about wargaming. Turns out he wargames as well, which I wasn't aware of. So it's always nice to meet wargamers. Which was fun. And then had another colleague say to me, "Oh, I'm really impressed with your 2 mil Osciliath." And I went, "Oh, you saw that?" And he went, "Oh, yes, saw you post it on Facebook." So yeah, word gets out, but always fun. Yeah. Right. Very nearly on kind of the bulk of this. See if I'm missing any bits over here. Oh yes, there we go. Knew we'd be missing some bits. Lovely. Right, let's crack on with the next bits. Let's get these stairs tackled. Now, I think next week I'm not going to have a live stream. I've got quite a few of the people at work are having a leaving do. There's quite a few of them leaving, including our chief of staff. So I shall be probably attending that, I think, because they have been. Many of them have been with the unit for a couple of years now, so I've been working with them for a couple of years, and it'd be good to see them off. So next week I won't have a live stream, but we'll be having a video on Sunday as per usual, and then I think we'll be back the following Wednesday. I'll have the live stream again, so we'll miss a week, and then we'll be back. But always nice to have a little bit of a break every now and again. I think for you guys as much as me. What's Johan said there? Scribbles on calendar. Bit concerned that your calendar has me on it, but no, much appreciated. Always nice to have that support. So thank you. Yeah. I think we're making progress here. Just making sure I've captured all the bits that are going to be seen, essentially. And we'll get border painted brown shortly, but we're actually not far off completing this bit. So I'm going to keep pushing on till I'm absolutely bored of brown. I want to do something different. Then I'll do some flesh, and then I'll come back and finish this off. I think that's probably the best way of doing this. Sometimes I will just push on and get things done, but I just like to not kill myself. Oh, good evening, Robert. I like what you've done there, Robert. Is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, well done. Robert is what is it? Starting to hang around. Brilliant. Yeah. Well, Robert, do check out my video on Sunday, as I know you will, because you are a very keen viewer of the channel. So thank you for that. But I will be reviewing this or showcasing this new kit from Great Escape Games on Sunday. So definitely one to check out. Absolutely beautiful kit. And yeah, we'll be checking it out on the channel. The following week, I'll be doing a how-to, so how I built this, how to put these kits together, and hopefully that will be useful and enjoyable all at the same time. Dare I say it? So, one to check out. Nice one, Johan. Good timing. Lovely. All right, let's get this last step just finished off. Lovely. Brilliant. Quite like this paint. I mean, it's a basic cheap acrylic paint, but it does dry relatively quickly, and that obviously then allows to. Oh yeah. So I've got two crows there. I'll obviously go into these in more detail when I do the how to build, but I just took these off of the sprues for the buildings that Great Escape Games does, and yeah, just added them on there. And as I say in the video, next Sunday, it's sorry, not this Sunday coming, but the one after that. There's so much customization, or the ability to customize these kits, and often using pieces from the other kits that they've done. So yeah, definitely worth checking out if you're into the West. Oh, sorry, probably doing that off camera, aren't I? Sometimes I hold it close to me because it's easier, and then I forget that it's supposed to be on camera. So do apologise. Yeah, let's get that finished off. I'll come back and paint these ropes with a different colour. Lovely. I think we're making pretty good progress. I mean, as I say, it's a great kit, and I mean, I've been going probably 25 minutes on this, and we've nearly got all the brown painted in. And as I say, I was tempted to just hit it with a spray cannon and get all this brown in the first place, but then I wanted to tackle the crows with some contrast paints. So the grey was a great undercoat for that. Lovely. Sorry, my silence is because I'm concentrating, which is usually good. The point at which I stop concentrating is usually when something goes horribly wrong, but uh, we're going all right at the moment. Problem is, I keep putting my hand in the way of the light, which means I just am covered in a sort of a darkness. Lovely, right. Now just got to finish the fence off, do the support legs, and then we are golden. Lovely. Excellent, right. Fantastic. Right, what have we got here? Johan says, man stabs miniature bird in eye. More on the news than mine. So yeah, focus is good. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I I was it was quite funny. It was quite amusing. I'll tell you the story, sort of behind the scenes story. So I was filming yesterday how to build this, doing the tutorial because I needed to build it anyway for this Sunday's showcase video. So it just made sense to get sort of kind of get two videos out of one product. So anyway, I'm start building it, and I'm really sort of laying it on thick about how you need to just take your time and read through the instructions and do dry fits and all this because you know if you do it like that you get it right first time and that's ideal. You know that's where you want to be. So I'm doing this and I put the cross beam in that the ropes go on, and as I'm then working to line the figures up because one of them has, in fact I'll just show you this chap here. You can see with the noose around his neck. I literally have put him on the thing to work out um, which way he faces, and I realise I've actually put this crossbeam on the wrong way round. So I'm like, oh no. After I did all the dry fitting and kind of concentrating and all that good stuff, I've actually got it wrong. So I ended up having to pull it out and try to. Oh well, the gluing it back in was fine, but getting it out in the first place was a little challenging. Yeah, I had to have a bit of a chuckle to myself because after saying concentrate, dry fit, all this good stuff, I'd absolutely mucked it up. But there we go, live and learn. It was an amusing story. So Steve says, got a Guards of Traitors toll project lined up for January. Might grab a one for that. Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I forget actually how much they are on Create Escape Games website, but I don't think they're too badly priced. And this literally came on one sprue. In fact, I don't know where I've put the sprue, and I assume you only get one in the box. They just sent me a sprue rather than a box, so I'm not quite sure if there's more in the box, but certainly, I mean, this is brilliant. I knocked it together easily within an hour. Uh, it was very quick to do so. And as I say, if you've got sprues from the the gunslingers, mounted gunslingers, the buildings, any of those, you'll find very quickly you've got loads of pieces on there that you can use to add to this. They're all interchangeable. And in terms of, as I say, customization, that is absolutely brilliant, really, really helpful. So I would highly recommend picking up one of these, particularly if you want Wild West or even, I mean, the Gallows, as you know, rightfully say, these would probably fit with a lot of other genres, periods. Um, it is a basic wooden built set of gallows. So well worth it in my opinion. I want to say it's about 20 quid, but I could be wrong. I'd have to double check that. They, I think, come out for pre-order. Again, I need to double check that. All this stuff I'm going to work out before I do the video description and on Sunday. In fact, ideally, I will get this all done before, get it all set up on Friday. Do the photography and all that for the thumbnail and all that, and then have a weekend off. And in fact, I'll actually have 2 weeks worth of videos there, so I'll probably take a week off before starting the next video. But we'll wait and see if I get stuff ready to go. I'll do some so that I've got stuff lined up, and I can take a break somewhere else down the line. But as I said a bit earlier, hopefully the 6mm Napoleonics arrive, and I can do a video on that project and what that's going to look like and all the good stuff. Need to order the magnetic sheets for the bottom of the movement trays that I'm going to do for them. So I have to get those ordered off Amazon. To be fair, they're not particularly expensive, and you get a lot of them. So I'll probably cover that in a video of how I did it and document the whole thing, because I suspect there'll be, certainly the 6mm community seemed very keen for more 6mm content out on YouTube. What I heard was that there wasn't a lot out there. Was it you? Was it you that was thinking about using magic on the rope? Don't know. I thought about magnets, Robert, but realised very quickly the rope's far too thin for that. Looks useful enough for other periods as well, to be honest. Should fit on a Mordheim table as well. Yeah, I think you could use it for that. Almost tempted to say like Napoleonics, but I know they tend to use the guillotine. But you could probably, if you didn't put the crossbeam in, you probably could do it as a bit of a stage for public executions, whether you're looking medieval, Tudor, all sorts of periods. I would have said that would be my sort of gut feeling about it. Right, let's get these stairs finished up. Let's get some paint on the legs. I think I'm probably just going to need to paint the whole thing because it's all kind of on show. There's always a bit that I miss. I can almost guarantee that at the end of this, I will look back and I'll go, "Oh, I've missed that bit." I'm just really nervous that if I put this on camera I might miss an angle where the camera is going to pick up some grey that I've not done a good enough job painting, or I've just completely missed it altogether. So I'm very conscious about making sure I've done a fairly good job. I think we're getting there. Oh, I think so. I'm not sure holding it is the best option either, because it's quite a bit I'm working on. It's a bit flimsy. It's bouncing around a lot, but in some ways it's the only way at times to get certain bits at certain angles. The grain is actually a little bit challenging. You really have to get the paintbrush to get into the grooves, into the grain, but it's not impossible. It's not overly difficult. It's just being conscious that you need to make sure that is something you work specifically to make sure you achieve. That is the other problem as well. Just making sure on the back side, because that will show out. Lovely. Nearly finished on the stairs. Stair support, so that's good. Do the feet there. Do that bit there. And you can guarantee that the camera is going to pick up on something that I haven't painted. Yeah. But I think it's coming along really, really nicely. So I think what I'm going to do, do I just want to finish this off? I'm going to let that dry a minute, and then I'll pick up some other bits when once it's dry. I mean, it's drying really quickly, as I say, which is a real benefit, because that means I can pick it up holding on to those bits. So that's really beneficial. In case anybody is wondering and didn't catch it earlier, this is just a cheap acrylic paint. This one comes from the range in the UK, and is literally, I think, £1 I paid for it, which just is when you're wanting big terrain project pieces like this, £1 for paint that lasts forever. I mean, I do I paint my ground cover in this and then dry brush it. Yeah, there's lots of things I use this brown for, and it always lasts me forever. I think this is a new pot which I bought ages ago, because I thought I might get on to open a new pot, and I've only just thrown away the old one, which in itself was quite a few years old. So yeah. Lovely. Okay, I want to put that down to the side, because that's getting a little bit challenging to hold on to while paints are. Yeah, right. Let's turn our attention to our figures, and I think I'm going to start off just base coating the flesh. I'm going to start off with a medium flesh tone. Vallejo's 860. And oh, there's quite a bit there, but that will just be a good starting point for the flesh. So when I actually paint the flesh, I've got 4 flesh tones that I do build it up just to give some good variation. And lovely. Wait, that came out wrong. Guillotine, the card game. That always happens when I have finished painting work. Yeah, Guillotine, that I've not. In fact, I have played the card game. I tell a lie. I think it's quite a good card game if I remember correctly. Guillotine. I think my parents picked that up, and as I'm going away on holiday with them towards the end of October, I shall have to see if they'll take it with them. Yeah, I've got a funny thing. My sister got it one year for Christmas or something. Yeah, we like board games, card games predominantly, but yeah, they're all good fun. Want more people in my family to play Memoir 44, so I can get games of that in because I do love that game. Very clever game, but I do enjoy it. Right, that's him. Let's do this other chap. So this is the guy that I'm sort of making the sheriff or the deputy. Added a badge from the Gunslingers box set onto him. The only thing I would say is that the badge I feel is just very out of proportion to the figures. I think that the badge is just too big. It does look like this massive sort of gong on his chest. So I would say I'd like them to shrink that if they were ever sort of remake these Gunslingers sprue. But to be fair to them, almost would think that would make the badge so small that it wouldn't be a very easy piece to cast to make. And then on top of that, you'd probably really struggle to cut it off without damaging it. So I'm guessing that probably wouldn't work, but it's not terrible. It's just it is quite chunky. What we got? Johan says it's quick, simple, great for my kids to improve their English and for the sisters to piss each other off by playing cards that oppose each other. And me laughing all the way to the bank. Definitely. I have seen the Battle of Hoth, Star Wars Memoir 44, Steve. I saw it in the store actually a couple of weeks ago. I was in Southampton on a Friday, taking my sister, and we went into the store, and they had it, and I have to say I was slightly tempted. My only reservation is that the whole thing's based around the Battle of Hoth, which maybe there's some really good scenarios in it, but it did feel to me like could they have, I don't know, it could they have made it multiple like a double-sided board, so you got Hoth on one side, maybe something that looks like Endor on the other. So you could do Battle of Endor, Battle of Hoth, and then just so there's some variety. I just thought doing the whole thing as Hoth, yeah, little concerned it was a little bit limiting, and the rebel troops and all of that just really appeals. So maybe one day I'll pick it up. Although part of me would rather pick up some of the World War II expansion packs, like the Desert, which I thought I had. Turns out I don't, so I'm not quite sure why I thought that, or if I have and where has it gone. Don't know. But yeah, I'm almost tempted to say I'd rather pick those up than pick up Hoth. But I guess at the same time, if you don't support these things when they come out, then they don't go and make the other bits that you might actually want. So it is one to consider. I'm going to think carefully about what I want to do. I don't know, I'm tempted to say, do I ask for like a Christmas present? Don't know. So I'll wait and see. Although, to be fair, I think my Christmas present, certainly from my wife, is already been decided on. I will be picking up on Black Friday. I'll be picking up the new Lego Enterprise D, and then handing that to my wife to give it to me for Christmas. So yeah, that's going to be my present this year, and I'm very much looking forward to it because it looks like it's going to be a really good set. Right, put more water. Steve says they are doing expansion for Endor, etc. Also rules for 4 players. Now that I really like the sound of Endor. Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars film, so yeah, definitely do that. Review says it has a campaign mode. 8.1 on Board Game Geek. Yeah, it's probably worth it. I think my initial thoughts are just from what I've seen online. And ultimately what I've seen from other reviews. But obviously that's not the full story. There's definitely, I think it's probably going to be worth checking out. So that will be one thing at some point for me to do. Problem is, there's all these things that my money is needed for. And unfortunately, my money runs out before the things that I want to buy run out. So yeah, a bit of an issue, but we'll get over, I'm sure. Come up with a plan. Right. While I let that first coat of flesh dry, let's jump back into the brown paint. We'll see if we can get some more of these supports painted. Just being very conscious of what's on show. Lovely. The nice thing with this whole set is I don't think it's going to take long to paint either, which is always a good thing. For me, sometimes terrain is a little bit off-putting because I always feel that they take much longer to paint, and ultimately I want to get things on the table. So, but this is it's actually going pretty quickly. I also like the fact that they've thought about the fact that some of the pieces are going to be seen, so they've made sure that the wood grain's noticeable from essentially all angles, so that like on all sides there's wood grain. It's not just like we're gonna make sure that you can see wood grain from one side. But you know, if you were to accidentally catch it from the other side, it'll look just like a flat piece, which I think is just really clever, well thought out. So this kit is has definitely impressed me. Let's put it like that. I did notice Mel has been very busy on the Wild West front. He's on a bit of a roll, and he's not only has he done a water tower and a windmill, but he's also now taken a Sarissa. I think he took one of the church kit, and he's used some balsa to sort of give it a little bit of a customization, a little bit more detail, which is really cool. I think his video actually came out yesterday with that. So again, not to push his channel any more than anybody else's, but it might be worth checking that out if you're interested, if you're into the Wild West. But good to see him back. Looks like he's sort of finding his mojo again, which is really encouraging to see. Luckily, I have mates with even less willpower than I do. Have they picked it up then? Have they, Steve? I think one of the things I really like about Memoir 44 is that you open the box and you're good to go. Like, there is no painting, there is no building. It is just, here's the board, here's your terrain tokens, you know, and here's your figures. Off you go. Some dice. Crack on. Which I like. Right, I've done all the supports except for that one. So my paint looks a bit poor, but yeah, see, this is where when I finally get to a point where I'm like, oh, I've got to hold on to something, but I haven't got anything to hold on to that's dry. It's a bit tricky. One-handed paint as it's sliding around the table. I think I might wait there. Oh, can I hold that by that? Oh, look at that. It's a winner. Wonderful. Oh, I just thought I'll do the underneath there as well. Oh, so many edges to do. All right. I think I'm gonna have to go around and paint a load of on the inside anyway, so not too worried. But it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it in the long run. It's going to look really good painted up, hopefully. Oh no. One of the crows fell off. I shall have to stick him back on. And we'll just paint that first. Right. What are we at? 4 minutes to. Oh, I know my eyes are starting to feel tired, like I've focused too long. So I probably Yeah, I don't want to rush things. If paint is not drying, I might actually just put another coat over these. In fact, let's do that. Stay over there and dry. Right, Mr. Crow, you better come off. Let's just get a little bit more paint on some of these bits. Want a good undercoat, but I think when I put it on, it was slightly thinner. So I'm just going to come back over, thicken that up. Yeah, that's much better. Brilliant. Haven't seen Mackie J on tonight, so hope he's doing all right. Who else haven't we seen? Luke. Luke has come on a couple of times recently, so again, hope he's well tonight. Many apologies, I did forget to set up the live stream this morning while I was on my way to work, so I had to do it this evening on my way back from work. So I think that might have meant some people didn't see it until late, or maybe didn't see it at all. So apologies for that. Just try to work to be a little bit more organised. The next time I have a live stream, because of course I'm not going to have one next week, but we will have a video out this Sunday, so do check that out. And we'll also have a video out next Sunday as well, as per usual. So next week's just a live stream. That's not happening. Cool. Right. That's those two. Ones with the most flesh. And I know I didn't pin them. I probably should have. I just used some plastic glue, but I might go for super glue this time. Just to ensure that they definitely stay. They're naughty. I was going to call them pigeons then, but they're of course crows. Let's just get a little bit up. That's better. And then the chap with the hood. Oh, go away. Make sure I've got that on. Good. That is a better coverage. More happy with that. Oh, pushing each other over. And the sheriff sort of guy or deputy, I've managed to get his arms in a way that he actually lines up. So he's, in fact, let me just show you. So I've got his arms like so, and I've lined him up perfectly so that he can be taking the other chap off to the noose. So that's just fun little creativeness there. Right, let's take a check where we are. So the gallows, good first coat, probably a little bit more first coat painting to do in certain places. I mean, even the handle, I don't know why I haven't finished the handle. Let's quickly do that. I've got a couple of seconds, minutes. 3 sets between 4 of us. My goodness. You're going to have enough forces and for a good sized battle there. Right. Let me catch up with the comments quickly. Robert, I've seen it, and the church looks amazing, and it's really great to see him back again. Yeah, no, that's it's good, isn't it, to see Mel the Train tutor back? So that's really good. Johan says Soviets sorted for the Northag lists. Now to find a way to paint 3mm infantry. I would highly recommend dots of paint rather than actually looking to pick out specifics. It certainly works for 2mm. And you'd be surprised that actually at 3 foot away, dots can very quickly look like they're actually like it's actually been painted properly. So, but that's just from my experience with 2mm. No expert, of course. It's also a very quick process as well, which I find very helpful. Robert says, sometimes I paint from the bottom and work up, so when I start the top, hopefully the bottom is dry. Yeah, makes sense. It's a good little idea, that. I think I've done almost the reverse this time, gone from top to bottom. Johan says, washes are king, I hope. I don't actually use washes on smaller scales. I'm debating putting them on 6mm, as I've seen a video, a sort of painting guide for 6mm, and it talked about using washes and then doing highlights. I know some people don't use them. I haven't used them in the past on smaller scales. I am tempted to try it to see how it works, and it may well be a Wednesday night live stream where I give paint some 6mm figures, like some test figures, a go. But yeah, prime, dry brush, wash, done. So what I find, Johan, for the smaller scales, I prime in black, because that creates the shadows between the dots. I mean, you could dry brush, I guess. Also, remember on the smaller scales, it tends to be better to go brighter colors, because as you get smaller, the colors get duller. I think that's how it works. Johan, I'll try find the video of the 6mm stuff where the guy talks about the smaller the scale, the less bright the colors get. So if you go for a dull down color, it's going to be even darker on a smaller scale. I'm sure you are well aware, and I'm probably teaching you to suck eggs, but yeah, brighter is better, hence the dry brush. Gotcha. Nice. Well, I think that's probably me done for tonight. As you know, I try to keep these live streams to about an hour. I think I've made some really good progress, so thanks for your support and just bearing with me, just being dull and painting brown on the gallows. But hopefully you'll really enjoy seeing this on Sunday in the showcase video. I don't think I've got a huge amount left to do on this. Obviously, finish off blocking the colors. I'm going to give everything a wash, and then I'm going to do a dry brush, and hopefully that should be it. I was thinking about putting it on a base, but I've decided against it, because I think I'm just going to put it on the table in situ, just like I have the buildings and all that. So no base for this, but hopefully this is going to look really good. And obviously, you know, if you're around Sunday, do tune in for that video. Hopefully it should be really good. Have a great week, everyone. I hope the week finishes well for you and you have a great weekend. I'm certainly got lots of things planned, and then hopefully some hobby time as well, just to get this finished up. And then, yeah, a couple of weeks worth of videos are done. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, my 6mm Napoleonics arrive and we can start talking about my 6mm Napoleonic project. So that's it for this live stream. Thanks ever so much for your support as always, and I will catch you not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, which is the week following the 8th, which I think is the 15th. I'll be back then with a live stream. So until then, take care, and we'll see you soon.